all of the toxins and chemicals and plastics that are in everything, our water, our air, our food, our skincare products, our house cleaning products. So at this point, I'm kind of like an all or nothing kind of girl. So I'm like, we're throwing everything away. He sees me going crazy. The Costco closet, we call it the Costco closet. Now it's like our soap closet where we stock all of our ingredients and stuff. I'm throwing everything away. He's like, this girl's nuts. I'm like, we're making our own products now. I'm done with this. I couldn't find anything on the market that did not have a million different chemicals or things that I couldn't pronounce.
John and Naj, pleasure to have you guys on the podcast. I'm so pumped for this conversation. Because you guys are two builders that I look up to in the Bitcoin space quite a bit. So just kick us off, give us a little intro, a little background on who you are and a little bit of how you got into Bitcoin and started building a business on Bitcoin.
Cool. So
I'll
take it off. So, wow. So it actually all started with Bitcoin. So my first introduction into Bitcoin was at a Christmas party in 2017. So if you've been around Bitcoin for a few cycles, you already know how this story kind of goes. I thought Bitcoin was too expensive to buy, so I purchased 3 Litecoins, which was supposed to be the silver to Bitcoin's gold. And you literally couldn't have tried to buy Litecoin at a higher price than I did. My average was $426 per coin. So I dropped like about $1,300. I was a few drinks deep at this Christmas party. Somebody was telling me about Ripple, Bitcoin, Litecoin. So I downloaded Coinbase and I purchased it. And then I just watched it go from like $1,300 down to maybe like $400. And finally, in April of 2018, I sold and I never opened up Coinbase since. And then it was actually in December of 2020. One of my good friends came back from the military and he was working at Morgan Stanley. So he was a TradFi guy and he was like, dude, you got to buy Bitcoin. It's going to 100,000, and I'm like, oh boy, like here we go again. But it was still around. And when I had seen it in December, it was like 19,000 or 18,000. And now he's talking about 100,000. So I was like, wow. So re-downloaded Coinbase. I saw that it was like somewhere around 30 or 40,000. I had to wait to get verified again. So the first week of January, I bought $1,000 worth of Bitcoin and it was at the all-time high. Then it was like $40,000. Smash bought 1,000, watched it go down. We went from like 40,000 that first week in January in 21. I forgot the exact numbers, but But I was like, no, I'm not going to do this again. Like I'm going to look into this. And I did all the shit coining and all that, bought Ethereum, Algorand, Solana, XRP, all that stuff. But as I started to get around the more pure Bitcoiners, it all just made sense that Bitcoin was the only thing that actually made sense for what I was looking for. And I kind of jumped ahead there, but everything really started with COVID. So yes. in 2020, when everything just started shutting down, to us, like during COVID, you could have went one of two ways, right? You could have listened to the talking heads, got the vaccine and hid in your house, put the mask on and all that stuff, not kiss your grandmother or your mother hello. Or you could have been in the other camp, which we were all considered crazy at the time. Like, let's ask questions. I understand the authorities are telling us this certain story, but what is actually going on? So she's like a super curious person, always asks a million questions. So luckily we had each other, just started bouncing questions back and forth. We saw that they were
we were still dating at the time too. We weren't even married yet.
Right. Yeah. We started dating in 2018. So we were about 2 years into our relationship and just like asking questions. I just bought a condo here in New York. So it was like perfect timing that I was able to move in and then we just got locked down and we were just here just trying to see like what was going on, all the stimulus. I downloaded Robinhood, started buying stocks and stuff like that, like with the stimmy checks. I'm working from home.
You're like, this can't be good.
Yeah, she was doing hair, so she couldn't like go to work, so she was getting the unemployment or whatever, and like money was just flowing in, and we were like, "Whoa, like
it's weird,
like something's going on." And in all of that, I came across Bitcoin Twitter. I want to say like mid to late 2020. I'm a big UFC fan, so I like watch every single fight. So I follow all the fighters on Twitter, and I just kept seeing Ben Askren retweeting Pomp. And I just saw Ben Askren talking about Bitcoin. And this was before my friend from the military came back. And remember, December 2017, I was introduced to it. So I'm like, Bitcoin, like, you know, now I'm on Robinhood. I'm buying AMC. I'm buying all these stocks. I have no idea what I'm doing. I lost a ton of money in Robinhood in 2020.
So
But
did I, my man.
yeah, like, I mean, you know, I had no idea what I was doing, but you know what? Just things didn't make sense, and I was just looking for an answer. Like we're all in the same generation. We're millennials.
Gotta
like
experiment to learn too.
Yeah.
You know? Gotta give yourself some grace there.
Right. You know,
Yeah, there's something there about like you have to have multiple touch points, and many people when they have that like experience where they lose all the money and like it goes down 80%, they're just like, you know what, I'm never touching this again. Bitcoin's a scam. You lump in Bitcoin with the rest of crypto, even though it's the rest of crypto that like loses money. So yeah, Naj, why don't you jump in, give us your perspective on how we got to be, and then actually you can take us to like starting the business too, because that's kind of where we're at.
So that is where we're at, because then we were listening to Pomp, and I mean, I was in the middle of planning our wedding at this point, I believe, right? Because I think I was on my tablet on the computer at night as he's like studying, listening to Bitcoin podcasts, like, I mean, nonstop. And, you know, I mean, it didn't really like interest me yet, but I was kind of interested in it, but not really focused on it. I was kind of letting him take the lead on that side of things. And then I heard Texas Slim on Pomp, and when I heard him talking about, you know, the food industry, the beef industry, and just what was going on there. And I mean, there's so much corruption, but what really caught my attention was when he said that there was like over 100 different strands of DNA in 1 pound of ground beef that you would buy in a grocery store. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, that means that there's 100 different cows, at least in 1 pound of ground beef. I'm like, that's like really gross, or just, you know, I don't know. It's kind of skeeved me out, but
like just trying to visualize, like, how does that even happen? You know,
yes,
like there's 100 cows worth of meat all in one blender.
It didn't sound right. It didn't sit right with me. It felt weird. I don't know. And then just kept listening to this. And then I was like obsessed with learning about our food system. So this is where I kind of came into questioning things more. It was really the food that pulled me in. So we were like in contact with Texas Slim. I'm like, I love what you're doing. How can we help? Like, what can I do? You know, so then we were just ordering through the beef initiative from regenerative farms. And, you know, just trying to support these local farmers that are really struggling right now. And they are the lifeline for us to live. They supply us food. So with that came, I started questioning everything else. I read a book called Dirty Girl, which I recommend to everybody. I mean, it's a little overwhelming because you start to realize, it opens your eyes up to all of the toxins and chemicals and plastics that are in everything: our water, our air, our food, our skincare products, our house cleaning products. So at this point, I'm kind of like an all or nothing kind of girl. So I'm like, we're throwing everything away. He sees me going crazy. The Costco closet, we call it the Costco closet. Now it's like our soap closet where we stock all of our ingredients and stuff. I'm throwing everything away. He's like, this girl's nuts. I'm like, we're making our own products. Everything. Now I'm done with this. I couldn't find anything on the market that did not have a million different chemicals or things that I couldn't pronounce. So I'm like, this is just like ridiculous. How does this not exist? What did people do 100 years ago or 200 years ago before we started pumping chemicals into our skincare and our house products? So then I'm like, I was kind of going down the deep dive of trying to figure out what I'm going to do, because I'm like, okay, I can't use Clorox anymore. I can't use Windex anymore. I can't even use my soap anymore. What are we going to do? So I just started doing a lot of research. I started making my own stuff at home. All of my cleaning recipes I make from scratch. It's so easy. And then I'm like, okay, we need skincare. So then I was just kind of researching the best ingredient for our skin. And I'm like, not only do I want something that's not chemical based or bad for us. I want like the best. I want something that's going to actually nourish our skin from the inside out, because I learned that, our skin absorbs everything that you put onto it. You're rubbing lotion in and it disappears. Where does it go? It's getting absorbed into your bloodstream. So I'm like, that's really important to know, and not something I've ever really thought about. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not going to put anything on my skin that I wouldn't actually put in my mouth and eat, because regardless, it's going inside my body, right? So then I came across tallow. A lot of research. I was looking into lard and tallow, but I kind of was like, I don't know, pigs have a bad rap, and they're also very dirty animals. They don't detox well. And not even just that, it was very hard to get rid of that smell. It had a very bacon piggy scent. And
she made a bunch of products with lard, and we
made
were like
so
literally
good.
using lard and tallow.
It felt stickier too. I don't know. I didn't love the way the lard felt, but then I really dove into tallow, and just like I fell in love with it. I'm like, wow, this like blends into my skin beautifully, almost like cocoa butter, but smoother, and it nourishes and leaves like a really nice barrier on the skin. So I'm like, this is it. And then I really started going deep, and I'm like, look at all the vitamins and minerals, and it's completely biocompatible with our own skin's natural makeup. So I'm like, all right, this is it. And actually, I don't know if you know this, but the word sebum means tallow
in Latin.
So it's like, oh, wow, our skin produces sebum. So our skin actually produces tallow, which is pretty cool.
Wow, I did not know that, but I just saw your email about sebum.
Yeah. I'm like, this is like back to the basics. I'm like, we got to start telling our people about this. I mean, this is such a big deal, but when you really just think about the root of things and really go back to the nature and the root of things, everything should be done in a simple way. We've overcomplicated things as a society. We pumped chemicals into our skincare. We all know that this is because of the fiat system. Just so many systems have been compromised by fiat. And we've just pretty much decided that we're going to create our own parallel structures and live on our own standard, and a Bitcoin standard too. So, so I just started messing around with making all the products that we needed. We needed a face moisturizer. We needed soap. We needed lip balm. We needed body moisturizer.
Yeah. Hang on though. Before there's something I just want to jump in really quick.
Go ahead. Yeah, please.
Because I think a lot of us start to realize like how messed up the world that we're just like born into is. Not only the financial system, us Bitcoiners understand the money's broken, but then that leads you to like realize, holy shit, like it sounds like COVID woke you guys up to some degree. You were obviously already critical thinking people before that. For me, it was like 9/11. I was originally the critical thinking moment. And then fast forward 10 years, COVID comes, same deal. Like I was like, where's this money coming from? Anyways, when I came across like how bad microplastics are, and like the soap that we use, like I was using Dr. Bonner's before I came across you guys, which is like, I guess maybe better than, the stuff with all the phthalates and all like the stuff that literally like destroys your like endocrine system. Yeah, hormones. Exactly.
It's terrible.
I get what I'm trying to say is like most people, and like I've fallen into this, is like, you know what? It's just too much. Like, oh, I have to like uproot literally everything in my life. I have to throw out every product. Like you just start to realize like, I don't even know, like the toilet paper at the airports, you guys talk about stuff like that. Like you bring your own, it can be overwhelming, but what I try and approach it with is like just incremental improvements.
Yes.
And so, I want to hear more about like how you guys have built the business, but before that, like, so we start to understand there's like microplastics, endocrine disrupting stuff in our skin products. But you're also talking about the beef industry. So maybe just like not real quick, but like get into a little bit of like how it is that these systems are broken. And for someone that maybe doesn't understand the root cause being the money, why is it that companies have to do these things and use these basically like byproducts to sell us as like something that's new? I don't know. Just if you have any thoughts on like the connection between the broken money system and like what we're seeing with beef, with skin, with everything.
Yeah, certainly. So, you have to look at incentives, right? You follow the money and you follow the incentives and you see what's going on. So essentially, like as the money's gotten debased, these farmers needed to find a way to increase their ROI by any means necessary. Because when you talk like low time preference and high time preference, right? There's only so fast that you could raise a cow. It takes time. It takes like, 18 months, 24 months, whatever it is, from when they're born to when you could finish them and start serving the meat or selling the meat. So these, we'll call them fiat ranchers, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it is what it is, right? They see each cattle as an ROI. How could I get the most out of this one cow? So they get them to the ranch, they inject them with hormones to fatten them up, they inject them with vaccines, they put them in feedlots, which are nasty. If you've ever seen anything on YouTube about it, they're like, going to the bathroom on each other. They're sharing diseases. Like, it's totally disgusting. They're feeding them commodity grains, which are subsidized by the government. So it makes financial sense for them to do so. And it also makes financial sense for them to inject the cow with hormones so they can fatten them up and you get more meat per cow. And that's just not the way that agriculture or ranching was intended to be. These cows are they're supposed to be grazing the pasture, eating grass, exactly what Uncle Tom said on your podcast. He's with the Beef Initiative, and he was great about all of this, like how they're intended to, what kind of lives they're supposed to live.
Mm-hmm.
And
the difference between regenerative and like organic. Like, regenerative is when nature works with nature to reproduce, and these cows grazing the land and nourishing the land that they're walking on, and the grass and the soil, and they're living off that land, and it's like nature's helping nature in a way. So that's what like regenerative means.
Yeah, it's basically what traditional agriculture, whenever you say like regenerative agriculture, it's really just how agriculture was 100 years ago. Like,
naturally how it should be. What
it was supposed to be. And Texas Slim says this all the time, organic, it's a captured term because there's so much corruption with labeling laws. Mm-hmm. The GRAS laws, where it's generally recognized as safe, that you could just fit all of these different chemicals under like one ingredient and slap it on the ingredient list.
You don't even have to disclose like 1,200 chemicals or something, right?
Right. So
it's crazy.
There's total corruption. Organic means absolutely nothing to us when we're looking at our food. Slim always talks about get as close to the source as possible. Mm-hmm. So back to your question about like the current beef industry and how fiat kind of corrupted it, was because these ranchers couldn't make a living with the amount of debasement that was going on with the money. A lot of these ranchers inherited these ranches, and the property taxes are going up, and their level of income is not going up. So they need to continue to take out loans. They can't service the loans. And then they're forced to raise the cattle for like a few months and then sell them at an auction. And then it's being sold to one of the big four, right. JBS, Cargill, Tyson, or National. And that's how 85% of the beef that you see in the grocery stores is from one of those big four. And to, not to beat a dead horse, but it's pretty insane too, how a lot of these big names in the health space, and I'm not going to say any specific names because I like a lot of these people, but
focusing on the wrong thing.
Well, they don't put a lot of stock into the importance of where you get your meat from. Mm-hmm. They'll say like, just eating beef is 90% or 95% of the way there. Like, once you eat beef, then you could worry about all the little minor details. And I just disagree with that because, if you think about a human, right? Like, what we consume, it's in our blood, it gets stored in our fat, gets stored in our muscles. What are you eating when you eat beef? You're eating muscle and fat. So if these cows have vaccines or hormones or diseases, that's going into your body when you eat it. So
you are what you eat, literally.
Yeah, 100%. So if you're not getting it from a good source, then you're just taking in what these cows were taking in. And most of the time, in the grocery store at least, it's a lot of diseases and garbage.
And also vaccines, they can allegedly now vaccinate people through the meat, which is mRNA, just like, it's insane. Yeah. One thing you said really jumped off is organic means nothing to you. It's absolutely true. I don't know if I told you this. I started a supplement company. I co-founded a supplement company literally because I was at a supplement company with a couple friends, guys that I grew up with. And we realized that what we were two of us, myself and my co-founder that ended up leaving that business, realized we were lying directly to our customers about what was in the product. The list of the ingredients was not what was inside the package. Mm-hmm. And that's because there's literally no oversight, no regulation. You can use what you described as like a proprietary blend. So you have you list the ingredients on there, but it's just like one amount for all the ingredients. So you don't actually know how much of each one. So it could be like 0.01% beetroot. And then on the package, it says, increase your blood flow with beetroot. It's like, there's literally not enough in there. It's called angel dusting is the term for it. It's like not enough to have an effect. So yeah, definitely thinking for yourself and like starting to read those labels. Like Naj, when you were talking about that, like I had a moment in 2020, I think it was January 2024. My girlfriend developed, she had already, but like it was this moment, she had rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh, yeah.
And so it kind of like came out of the blue, and all of a sudden we're trying to figure out like what is causing this. It was like a brutal time. And at that time I stopped eating seed oils like altogether. I was just like, I made the commitment that sounds like you guys made. If I can't pronounce it or I don't know what one of these ingredients is, it's not going to my body. End of story. If I'm like, traveling or on a ski mountain, I'll have a Snickers once in a while, whatever. But like on a daily basis, no packaged food, no seed oils. And I saw my joint pain, my inflammation in my body, like my overall health increase so much. Like, well, joint pain decrease, but you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, just experiencing like taking away these things that are causing problems for us is like half the battle. But the system that we're in is like literally the incentives are to make us sick. It's the sick care system. Feed us shitty food, give us the medication afterwards. And I really am excited to talk more about this because I think Bitcoiners are the ones who need to really understand this the most. Like if we're going to be leading this next generation and raising the kids who are going to be the entrepreneurs and business leaders, like they need to be healthy. They can't be eating shit because they will not be able to achieve what they need to in their life. So I hear, like Jack Cruz comes to mind, but I'm just kind of all over the place ranting here. Naj, where were we when I interrupted you about 10 minutes ago?
We're good. It is overwhelming. It's like sometimes I have to like try to organize my thoughts because I'm literally like all over the place when it comes to these topics. There's just so much. But we're I think I was just talking about the base, how we decided the base to be tallow.
Yeah.
And it ended up being too much for us.
Yeah.
You can't make any super small batches.
Well, that was the thing. So I was kind of like messing around with things. And I was like, all right, let me get some other ingredients to mix with the tallow, maybe like extra virgin olive oil because we weren't going to use no seed oils in our products, and this was really just for us initially. And, I made all these things, all these products. John loved them. He's telling me he loves them, but he's my husband, so he kind of has to tell me he likes everything that I do, right?
So, no, that was your fiance at the time.
Oh, you're my fiance at the time. Yeah. Well, even more.
So really got to tell. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So, we had all this extra product, and he's like, why don't you share this with our friends and family? Like, let's try to get them on board. A lot of our friends and family were just like newly married too and starting to have kids. So, whenever we'd see people, I'd give them some of my stuff that I made in these like little jars, and they like really loved it. They're like, Naj, this is really, really good. You should do something with this. Like maybe, share it with the world. And this was before tallow was even like a thing, which is so funny. It's amazing to see how it's blown up.
This was in the beginning of 2022. So we got married November of 22. So this was all, she was doing this, but also like planning for the wedding. So the wedding, we had a destination wedding in Mexico. So it was a lot of work, and she really did a phenomenal job of planning the entire thing. So that was the main focus. So it was like, I guess beginning, middle of 22. And then when we got back from Mexico in December of 22,
was when I like buckled down.
Yeah, on our honeymoon, we were just like, you could think, you're no stress, whatever. And like, we had all these visions and of what we wanted life to be like. And starting this business was a priority for her. It was going to be her because I have my own real estate business. So like this was her thing. And she was really motivated to do it. And I supported her. And then when we got back in December 22, we incorporated early 23. April of 23, we incorporated, filed for an LLC. And then it was just like, bam,
hit the ground running with it. I'm like,
I'd be on the couch listening to Bitcoin, reading, listening to podcasts. I needed all the support at that time because that was like the depths of the bear market. Like I knew what I was holding, but man, it hurt going from 69 to 15. Like, I needed all the mental support I could get.
But simultaneously, like it did give us like this courage. Like we had so much faith that this business could be successful. And I wasn't loving where I was with my business, my work at the time. So I was doing hair. I always loved like helping people, and I always wanted to make people feel good. So I had a passion for it at one point, but I don't know, the people that I was working with, the clients I was doing, it was just becoming so like, I just felt like the conversations and everything just wasn't, it, it was surface level stuff, and I think when our eyes opened up, to all these things during COVID, I just realized that there's so many layers to peel back. And I felt like it wasn't fulfilling enough for me anymore to be in this environment that just almost felt like toxic in a way. So it really took a toll on me mentally. And I'm like, I think that this, going a more natural route with our skincare and starting this business was like my way out too. And, I felt so passionate and strong about it and had so much faith in it. And I think also at the time, like knowing what we knew about Bitcoin kind of gave me a little more courage too. I'm like, all right, we can take some risks. We don't have kids yet. The wedding's over. The wedding's paid off. Now let's take some risks here because this is the time. And that was also why we kind of went down the whole rabbit hole of like non-toxic skincare and stuff in the house, because we knew we wanted to start a family one day. And I think that's, pretty much every Bitcoiner's goal. You want to get married, you want to have a bunch of kids, you want to live on a nice piece of private property where you could, just live off of it, homesteading. Yeah. Like it's kind of like all these things just sort of align, one thing leads to the next. So I think I cut you off.
No, well,
and I'm sorry.
yeah, I mean, no, that's fine. But yeah, we were just back to like how it became a business. So it was too much for us to use. Family and friends were like, oh, you got to sell this stuff. This is great. Like she said, she wasn't happy doing hair. So when we got back from the wedding, it was just like full on pedal to the metal. Like, let's do this.
Yeah.
And we ended up
sourcing was.
Yeah, so
one thing.
That was what I was about to ask you guys about, because like when we did our supplement company, that's the whole business relies on the suppliers, right?
And that's, so maybe this is like, I guess kind of like a blessing and a curse for me. Like I am sort of a perfectionist, and like it's not a good thing, I guess, but sometimes it is, because like I pictured this to be a certain way, and I'm like, if we're gonna do this, like it needs to be the best that it could possibly be. I want the best ingredients in our products. I want the best for our skin. I want to be completely transparent. Like we need to do this the right way. And that's kind of, that's how Bitcoiners are. That's how Bitcoin is. So
yeah.
we started building our business, on like the same values as Bitcoin. So we wanted that foundation to be really strong.
Right. And at this time we were already getting our meat through the beef initiative. We were just customers harassing Slim on Twitter, like, we love what you're doing. Like how can we help? Because it radicalized us. What he was saying radicalized us in the same way that Bitcoin radicalized us. Like I had no idea before Bitcoin who Jerome Powell was, who Janet Yellen was, and what the Federal Reserve was. Had no idea that Nixon took us off the gold standard in 71. I didn't know Executive Order 6102, FDR confiscated gold in 33. I knew none of this. So like, these were just like eye-opening things that just literally changed my entire worldview. And what Slim was saying about shake a rancher's hand and get as close to the source of the seed as possible totally changed everything. So we were already sourcing our meat through him, and we found a local connect for raw milk and eggs and butter and all that. So our food that we were eating was already farm to table.
We already secured all that. Yeah.
Right. So then we started going to butchers to get their fat so we could render it down into tallow. And when we go to the butchers, they couldn't tell us where exactly the meat was coming from, which I found very surprised. Like, you're supposed to be a butcher. And this is nothing against butchers. Like I only went to a handful in our neighborhood over here, but not one person knew what farm they were coming from. And they were sourcing it from a bunch of farms, and maybe they were good, but they didn't know. And that was the problem. So we were just doing what we can with the, whatever tallow we could get to experiment and formulate and perfect the formulas. But eventually we got in contact with Slim, got him on a phone call, and was like, listen, this is what we're thinking about. Can you help us secure a tallow supply? Because we know that all the ranchers that are on your marketplace have been vetted, and we trust what you're doing here. So they connected us to our rancher, Red Banks Beef Farms. They're in the Shenandoah Valley in Virginia. Amazing family. We went to the farm, toured the farm, ate lunch with them, saw the cows, like,
amazing people,
just typical Bitcoiner stuff. Don't trust, verify. And they're just unbelievable people, such a great family. And we couldn't be happier to support them. I mean, they were throwing the fat out, and now they're able to have a whole nother revenue source, a revenue stream through this, thanks to, what we've been doing. So like, we're helping them out. Our customers are helping us out. He's helping us out. And it's just a whole like circular economy type thing.
It feels so good every time you put an order in for tallow from them, because it's just, that you're supporting those people. And like, it's extremely rewarding. Like even, the end of 2025, like the guy that we connect with over there, the rancher, he was just like,
his name is John.
His name is John too. Yeah, he was just like, you guys really made a difference in our year. Like, thank you so much. Like, it's just like literally wrote us a Christmas card. I cried. Like,
yeah, she cried. It was unbelievable.
It was just so like, it just made me feel so good. And to know that there's no waste here. You're honoring the cow nose to tail. There's no waste at all. I mean, there's so much fat on those cows that can be used. What was John saying? We asked him, it was like,
it's about 80 pounds. Yeah.
80 pounds of rendered fat.
Right. So
per cow. That's a lot.
Right.
That's a
rendered.
Lot of fat.
So that's like maybe 120 pounds of regular fat per cow, 80 pounds rendered. And, these cows are living great lives on that ranch, at least. They're eating good food, grass fed. They are eating grains, but they're not commodity grains. They're grains that they're harvesting there on the farm themselves.
Right. And the farm, their roots go back to before George Washington's time.
Yeah,
so
their
like,
family.
I'm like, I trust these people. I trust this farm. Like, it's legit.
Yeah, their family has taken care of that soil since before George Washington was president. So they've been there for a long time. And it's just an unbelievable thing to be a part of.
We couldn't have fell into a better connection. Like, that was just unbelievable for us. And right there, I'm like, okay, we're gonna be good, because at first we were kind of messing around with tallow fat from butchers, and like I was even looking, like you could order tallow on Amazon, which I think is just so bizarre and like gross. Yeah, like I wouldn't put that
straight from China.
Yeah.
I mean, there was this viral video that went on social media recently about a lot of the tallow is deodorized and bleached, similar to seed oils.
Yeah, how seed oils
and
are processed.
The person who made that statement, they're right. That's like a lot of the tallow on Amazon is, like you said, probably coming from China, all third world countries. That's where most of our beef comes from, third world countries.
Yes.
Like we sell our beef to the highest bidders on the market, which are like basically China. And then we're importing our beef from Mexico, Brazil, all these other countries, but not here. Meanwhile, Texas has the best beef in the world. Like, we're not even taking care of our own people. And, it's just crazy when you think about it.
I guess you could say it's like everything else that we do in this country. We take care of everybody else before us, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so much good stuff in what you guys were just talking about. Like, I'm here just like, this is why I had this podcast. I'm so excited about it.
Thank you.
First of all, I have to say this is one of the coolest things about Bitcoin, and something that I'm exploring in my documentary is how Jeff Booth talks about it, 8 billion people in service of 8 billion people. And in the fiat world, it's like this dog eat dog, zero sum game. If I win, you lose. I'm trying to make more profit than you. In this world, like, here's a perfect example. By the way, like, this story, every one of your customers like needs to understand this story, and I didn't. So maybe I can help you guys make a video or something that can just help people understand, like, when you're supporting your business, you're directly supporting these guys, Red Banks Beef Farm. And
you must have missed last week's email, Kyle. We wrote about it in our email last week.
I saw the subject line. I'll tell you that. I saw the subject line. No, but
we try.
It's so beautiful how like Texas Slim's effort to create the beef initiative set you guys up so that you could build your business. And it's not even just like, to source beef. It's like to actually build a business on top of it. Had I known this, I would have mentioned it to Tom last week when I talked to him. Super cool stuff. And the idea that like, we want to like we want to see a world in which this farmer and this rancher continue to exist. And the way that I've been preaching this, like vote with your dollars or your Bitcoin, your sats, like that's how you decide, like that's the best way to build the future that you want, is to take your time and energy away from the stuff you don't want to see and give it to the stuff that you do want to see. So this is why I love your guys' business so much, and why it's like so easy for me to recommend it, because everybody needs soap. Everybody needs like facial products. I got my girlfriend, who she's a real person, by the way. I don't know if you heard, there was some,
we know.
some rumors. I was on a live stream. Yeah, I was on a live stream yesterday, and I mentioned like using your Bitcoin. I was like, hey guys, here's a great way to use your Bitcoin. Born to be free. Go check out their store. Go buy something. Use it. Like otherwise, how do you know? Like how do you have a bullish future or like a bullish vision of Bitcoin for the future, but you think it's not going to be used as money? Like strange Dude, contradiction for me. But
we use Bitcoin all the time. So like we get our beef with Bitcoin, pay for our beef in Bitcoin. I wouldn't say orange pilled because he's not a Bitcoiner, but I got my barber to accept Bitcoin in maybe it was 2023 or 2022. So like he first got in the 20,000s, you know? So imagine like how happy he was when, even now, like when we were at 126,000. So I haven't paid for a haircut in fiat in like 3 years.
Nice.
I got him set up on there. The guy who delivers our eggs and milk,
our produce and stuff,
he's from Egypt. So he got it right away. Like, you know how Alex Gladstein, financial privilege, right? We have that here in America. Trying to orange pill somebody not from America was so easy. I was like, wow, dude, you get it? Like, and again, he was like around the same time as my barber. So I got him involved in like the 20,000s. And, you know, for the last like year, 2 years, every time he comes here, he comes every Thursday night. He's like, you made me rich. Like I got retirement here. And I'm like, and he's like, and now he hopes for the price to go lower. And somehow every Thursday night, the price dips when I got to pay him. But it's all good because he understands it now. He has more money than he's ever had saved up. And, you know, when you're just spreading the good word, and that's just because like I want to pay, I'm all in Bitcoin. So I don't really have fiat to spend. I spend on a credit card and, you know, I pay it at the end of the month, but everything I spend, I try and spend Bitcoin. So we just, you know, you could get wine from Peony Lane with Bitcoin, like skincare. We accept and prefer Bitcoin. I'm subscribed to a lot of Substacks and I pay in Bitcoin. So I get like, I get so much in Bitcoin.
Zap people on Primal, like for a good tweet. It's like, wow, this is, you know,
I never understand.
We're living in like a whole nother dimension.
Yeah, I never understand when people say that like you can't use it as money. I'm like, dude, I use it for everything except for my mortgage and taxes and like Con Edison bill. Like I'm using it all the time.
You took a loan out in Bitcoin. You told them that?
Yeah, I took a loan out using Ledin for the first time. Yeah, which it's you don't want to sell it. Sometimes like when we're making investments in the business, I had to sell a little bit like at the end of last year, which ended up being a good sale, you know, well over 100,000. But in the moment, I was like sick about it. You know, when you're in my mind, Bitcoin's already like $10 million a coin at least. So every time I spend it, that's the opportunity cost where it's like, if it's not survival or to improve our quality of life, because at the end of the day, you can't take it all with you anyway. When we move on past this physical realm that we're in, you know, you need memories. At the end of the day, that's all you have. And that's all you're leaving people with. So we'll spend our money on survival and things that really improve our quality of life, not materialistic or anything like that. But when I was like selling some to invest in our business to try and grow it, I was like sick. So then I finally found Ledin. And for the longest time in New York, we couldn't take loans out against it. And I saw that it was available. And, you know, I just started doing that. So now I'm like playing that game where I'm super like 10% LTV. I'm not going to get liquidated or anything like that. You know, you have to do it intelligently.
So you just put like extra collateral up and then you just have the peace of mind. And
like
I looked into it recently. I'm like fundamentally opposed to just the idea because I worry that it confuses people that are just getting into Bitcoin. Like if you've been in Bitcoin, you understand what it is. You've got your self-custody. You can definitely make decisions as a responsible adult to take a loan against its pristine collateral. That's one of the things that it is. Take a loan against it if you want to. Just recognize what you're doing. Sounds like you guys do. A lot of people, though, this last year, right? It was the Jack Mahlers on stage announcing Strike has this new service. what was the price of Bitcoin at that time? $100,000.
Yeah.
So basically everybody who took a loan at that time is now paying off a loan on Bitcoin, which is significantly decreased in cost.
Yeah.
And probably a lot of people had to either put up more collateral or got liquidated. So I just completely, not like I'm preaching to you guys, but just for people that are newer, it's like right now, be very careful because the goal is to separate you from your Bitcoin.
100%.
Yeah.
And like with anything, like, you know, if you're going to the gym for the first time, you're not going to throw 300 pounds on a bench press and start benching it. Start with the
Great
bar.
analogy.
Yeah. Like I took the loan out. My first loan ever was Bitcoin at 108,000, right? It was a tiny portion just because I needed to see how it worked. I had to, my hands and armpits still sweat when I'm sending Bitcoin, like in a large amount. Like I'm like, babe, don't talk to me
Takes years off my life too.
Until this confirms.
So
like I got to make sure that this goes through. Like, you know, 5 years later, it's still very stressful. So you start with a tiny amount, and you know, Bitcoin was at 108,000. I sent more collateral. Like you know, you have to just make sure that if you do decide to do it, that it's a super tiny portion of your stack. And, you know, if Bitcoin drops to 10,000, then maybe you have a chance of getting liquidated. Like something that extreme is the only time I would recommend it. And that's at least what we're doing. And it affords us an opportunity to not sell our Bitcoin and basically play the game that the wealthy has been playing forever. I mean, they've been leveraging their assets to just reinvest in assets and just continuously refinance those loans. And while holding on to the assets, because the appreciation is going to outweigh the interest rate and all of that. Versus if you had to sell it, then you lose all that appreciation. So that's the only reason we do it. I try not to do it. I'm still I feel a little queasy knowing that it's not in self-custody right now, some of it, but you know, at least
we're betting on ourselves though.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
There you
So
go.
we're betting on ourselves. And you know, the thing with this kind of business is there is a lot of upfront costs, like things, you know, you got to purchase all these ingredients ahead of time, all the packaging, all the labels. Like there's so many little things that go into it.
Holding inventory.
Yeah. So like, you know, when you start to see things, you know, turning over, it's like, all right, now we're starting to see that money coming back. But
and a lot of mistakes
very
starting
low
off.
Time preference business we're in.
I believe that. I definitely believe that. Yeah, we had a shipment, UPS just like lost one of our shipments of cacao one time, and they just sent us an email. They're like, hey, your cacao got destroyed in transportation. Sorry. And that was our lesson, that you need to buy insurance when you ship large amounts of supplies.
Yeah, like, large amounts.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. The
so we lost a couple grand.
The worst
to
deal with. Yeah. We've had some expensive mistakes.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, I mean, so we've never done an e-commerce business or making products or anything like that.
This whole thing has been a huge learning experience, but it's been great.
Yeah. Like I said in the beginning, it was supposed to be her project. I was not, you know, I was like the financial backing of her, like, you got this, I got you, whatever you need, we're going to invest in it. And then I remember, and everything happens for a reason. Like, I just believe that God played it all out like this, because she made a huge batch. We were trying to launch for July 4th, 2023. And it was set in her mind. And when she has something set, it's like, by all means necessary. Something happened with the formula of everything she was making, and the entire batch of a lot of product was bad. And she was crying and things like that.
So bad.
I'm on the couch. I put my podcast on pause and I said, hold on, like, relax. We got this. So like, I threw on an apron, started getting involved. And like, that was my entry into Born to Be Free. And like, we really started working together. She was devastated. She literally put her heart and soul into everything. Like, I can't even list everything that she did, from formulating all these different products to designing the labels and just the vision of everything. And she was trying to rush things to get launched for the 4th of July, you know, Born to Be Free. It was perfect, but it just didn't work out. And, you know, a massive batch that we just had to throw out, like, you know, and that's happened a bunch of times, you know, we didn't end up she wanted to launch, what was it? Labor Day in 2023. And then like another little mistake messed that up. And we had finally launched in December of 23. And I was pretty much fully in at this time, like helping her out, but just a lot of mistakes, but lessons. You know, you either win or you learn. You don't lose. So that's basically like, Yeah, that's just a part of business. That's the cost of doing business.
Lot of learning experiences. Yeah, that was devastating, but it definitely helps having somebody there with you to like kind of pick you up and say like, all right, everything's going to be all right. We got this, because at that time it just kind of felt like it was all on me. But yeah, that was tough. And I've learned from that too, because I can't be such a perfectionist. You know, I have to kind of like let go of things sometimes and realize that um I can't control my path always, you know. You can have direction and you can have an idea and a vision, but you can't control the path that gets you there. You just have to kind of be open to, you know, what's going to get you there, what that path will look like. You don't know. You need to accept whatever comes your way. And that was definitely an experience I learned from. But now this was great. Like, I got the best business partner in the world, and he's leaving his fiat job, his fiat
Yeah.
business in April.
Yeah, I'm out in a couple of weeks. Like I said, I have a real estate business, but it's man, when you go into Bitcoin and meet Bitcoiners at like all these in-person events and the conversations that you have, and then you get back injected into the fiat world, it's just like, hold on. Time is scarce, right? And I need to be spending every single second of my time doing something that I want to do, because I don't know when my time is up. And Bitcoin really opened my eyes to that. Somehow it's amazing, like how Bitcoin is such an unbelievable teacher in every single aspect of life. And yeah, I just decided like, look, I'm not going to do this. She took a leap of faith in April of 2024 when she left her fiat job. And now I'm taking the leap of faith in April of 2026. So like, oddly enough, like 2 years later, to say, you know what, we've grown the business a little bit. It's not exactly where we want to be, but we're betting on ourselves again. Like, if I leave this, I leave the distractions and things like that, we're going to be able to focus full time, travel more. We want to go to all these different Bitcoin conferences because they're just, they're unbelievable experiences. And when you get surrounded by Bitcoiners, it's just like you're meeting family. Like,
You gain something at every single conference,
yeah,
no
like,
matter what it is, like lifelong friends, your
family. Yeah, Camp Nakamoto. There's like lifelong friendships like with you, Uncle Tom. Like, we call him. Bitcoiners have. I want to say this now. We need to just elevate Uncle Tom to be like the uncle figure for the Bitcoiners. Like, Fiat has Uncle Sam. We have Uncle Tom. All right.
I am on board for that.
Right? Okay, good. I just want to make that a thing, because we call him Uncle Tom. We love him, and let Fiat have Uncle Sam. Bitcoin has Uncle Tom.
Uncle Tom is freaking cool. I'll tell you that. He's a cool uncle.
He is.
He's the best.
He is. He really is.
Wow. So, man, what you were just saying about like time being scarce really resonates with me. We have to make decisions about how we spend our time, right? It's like ultimately like this is like it's like a decision every person has to make in every moment of every day, right? And when we make that decision that's out of alignment with like our purpose and our soul on this earth, we start to have friction in our lives. And like, I was on a walk this morning, just kind of like thinking about this. I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm on the right path. Like, maybe my bank account right now is looking a little dicey, and like I probably should have. I actually am going to hold myself from saying I should have a job. My girlfriend thinks I should make a little more money, but I have Bitcoin, and I'm like, dude, it's going to be fine. Like, I want to spend my time, and I want to demonstrate to my kids that like life is not just about making money. Like, you can make money, yes, and I do make money in doing things that I genuinely enjoy, making videos for Bitcoin companies and creators. Like, I pinch myself because I'm actually going to Kenya next week to film a documentary. Wow. It's like, it's crazy, right? But I couldn't have that opportunity had I just pursued like a fiat job. I would have given up this like thing that if you told the 21-year-old me that I would be taking a client job to go to Kenya to film, I'd be like, get out of here. Like, I've won, but now that I'm here, I'm like, oh shit. Like, it's, there's so much more opportunity to keep growing. And, I try to remind myself, like, remember when you wanted what you have right now. And so, yeah, Bitcoin as a teacher teaches us how scarce our time is. Like, that's a trajectory that I may not have ever really realized without Bitcoin. Like, it's incredibly scarce. And so I commend you for recognizing that and acting on it, man. That's super exciting.
Thank you. And dude, what you said about the bank account, like, I don't know if it's just like our generation or whatever, but like I feel like we all feel that way. Of course, when you're denominating something, I know we denominate in Bitcoin, but at the end of the day, a lot of our expenses are denominated in fiat. And when you're denominating in something that has no top, it has no ceiling, you're always going to feel like you never have enough. And I have to even catch myself every now and then, especially with me leaving my business in a week or so. Like we're that's a source of income that's going to zero. And like we said, we're going to bet on ourselves that we will eventually make that up plus some. But like you just said, I had Bitcoin. And because of Bitcoin, even though we're in a bear market right now, you try not to get too tied to the price. But it's like I said, dude, in my head, it's already like 10 million plus a coin. It's just a matter of when it's going to get there. And time is a man-made phenomenon. So sometimes think reality doesn't line up with your expectations or what you believe is going to happen. But if I could just make sure, like, look, I have this safe haven. I have to spend it, whether that's selling some or using it directly in peer-to-peer transaction or borrowing against it. Everything that I'm doing, it's trying to be as frugal as possible because I want to hold on to as much as possible because that's my security blanket. And having that allows you to, like what you just said, like not have a job and that's another thing, like we stopped saying work, right? We call it play. Like, hey, when our family's like, hey, what'd you do today? We played, we worked, we made products, we
Work
packed
has
orders.
such a bad, like, meaning attached to it. I feel like just so negative, I'm
Totally.
like, this isn't work. Like we have so much fun. We work on the weekends. You know what I mean? Like we're doing it's play.
You're working right now. What are
We're
we talking about?
right now. This is awesome. Like this shouldn't be work. Like this can't be called work.
Right.
And even like money, like I feel like I've always had this like negative, like connection with money. I don't know. Like just, it was always like a problem. I feel like growing up, and it's just so in my head, it's just negative. So I'm like, we're going to call it Satoshis instead of money because I like the way Satoshi sounds better. And I don't like Monday because who likes the sound of Monday? Because when I worked a fiat job, Mondays sucked. So every day Saturday. Like,
perspective is everything.
And we've learned to change that drastically. And I think that makes a huge difference too in everything. I mean, it really does make a difference. And not thinking like, I'm going to feel, I've been going down like a very spiritual rabbit hole too. This is like my new thing right now and I'm obsessed, but like, just not saying I'm going to feel better or more wealthy or successful or happy when I have a house, when I buy a house, or when my bank account has this much money in it, like it's just really feeling that feeling now, feeling grateful for everything you have now. And it could be the simplest things, like just the roof over my head, watching the sun rise in the morning, watching the sunset at night, waking up with each other in the morning. I'm like, our health, like so many little things that we really do, we do take for granted. Like you don't really
100%.
think about these things every day. And I think when you're living on a fiat standard, you kind of get caught up with this. Like you're like a robot almost, you wake up, you go to your fiat 9-to-5 job, you come home, eat dinner, you're miserable, you put your kids to bed, you go to sleep, blah, 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 do the same thing all over again. And you don't really get to appreciate life because you're living in this like robotic, like simulation almost. It's just so weird. So, being able to just really like first thing I do in the morning now, as soon as I wake up, I feel like because your consciousness is just, you're kind of like in and out of your sleep a little. And I think you're able to connect more with this like higher power at that time. And I just think like, all right, I'm so grateful right now. Everything's good. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and my cortisol feels a little high. I don't know why. I'm working on that. But like, being able to get that back down and get grounded again and just say like, all right, everything is good. I'm safe. I'm in a safe place. Everything is good. I'm grateful that we have each other. I'm grateful for another day and that I get to, do what I love doing today. And, just feeling that. So.
That is so beautiful. And yes, it's so true. John, you got me thinking, a quote I've heard before is, a healthy man has 100 problems. A sick man has one, right?
Yep.
It's like keeping perspective on things is so important. If you have your health, like you're doing pretty well. If you have like your family's health and like a roof over your head and maybe like meals and like you're not going to be hungry, like you're doing better than like a large percentage of people in the world. Right. And so, yeah, it's, there's so much that like we're just trained to think like work equals going to job, right? Like I do work all the time. I love working. I love the word work. When someone asks me what I'm doing, like I might be editing my documentary. That's work. Like I'm working, like, but they don't need to know, oh, I'm editing like a documentary. Cause from their perspective, like I'm just working. Like, yeah, that's work. So I use the word work, but like I've changed the definition to like my version of it, which is like after this, like I don't know, maybe I'll go in the yard and I'll do some yard work, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
Dude,
not
exercise.
like
Exercise is work. You're working on
Totally.
your health. You're being productive, you know, like I guess when you change the definition, anything could be work, and as long as it's doing something you love. Like we love being productive. So when I go work out, I'm like, you know, whatever time of the day, like I'm working out, I'm exercising, I'm contributing to my health bank account, and that's important. So
yeah,
there's a story, I don't know exactly, but it's like this Japanese guy, he's chopping wood and he's like 100 years old or 100 and something, 99 years old. They ask him like, dude, why are you chopping wood? Like have one of the younger guys do it, you know, like basically, and he's just like, no, like I need a role, I need a purpose, this is what I do. Like I don't have to do it, but I do it because like this is what I'm drawn to do. So
we're laughing right now because we always dream. We want, you know, we're in a 1-bedroom condo here in New York, and we want a house with, you know, a few acres of property. And I say all the time, babe, I just want to go in my yard and chop wood. Like that's all I want to do.
But wait, that stemmed from camp because you saw somebody chopping wood there and you're like, that looks so nice. Like there's just something about it that looks so appealing. Like I just want to chop wood.
We'll watch homesteading videos on YouTube and you see them just chopping wood, and I'm like man.
ASMR.
Yeah. I can't wait to take my shirt off, satisfying. Get grounded and just chop wood, dude.
Hell yeah, man. Hell
the simple things. The simple
I
things.
love it. So have you guys thought about where the Citadel homestead that you're going to build is going to be? Is it going to be US, East Coast, West Coast, Latin America?
She's on Zillow every day, man. Like it's
I'm like, babe, look at our new homestead.
It's
I texted.
tough.
Well, it is tough because, you know, I mean, honestly, we'd love to get out of New York.
Time out. Sorry.
I'd love to get out of New York.
Well,
touchy subject.
There's an exception to that. We love El Salvador, Costa Rica, those vibes, but there is truly something special about Northeast summers. And we love Montauk, which is, if you're not familiar with New York, it's all the way, they call it the end. It's at the very end of Long Island. And it's just like a surfer town. It used to be an old fisherman town. Now it's super bougie, like super expensive.
It's getting a little Hamptons-y, but like
there's farms out there. There's vineyards. So it's like you could get property. Special. You're near the beach. There's just something special in the air where the people that live there, they're like Bitcoiners, but they don't know it yet. They just have that, like, you know, they're surfers.
The
really.
locals.
Yeah. So that it's very expensive there. So in a perfect world, we would have a nice piece of property out in Montauk, spend the winters, I don't know, Costa Rica, El Salvador, somewhere like that. But if we start to lose our patience here in this 1-bedroom condo, then maybe we'll stay on the East Coast, but go a little down south somewhere where it's more affordable. I mean, when you look around the country, there's some areas that you could get acres for $100,000 or $200,000. And then here, that's not even going to get you a studio.
Yeah.
So it's just like
you can't get a house for under $1 million within like how many miles from here would you say? And like not even an acre of land.
Yeah,
I mean, half an acre
within driving distance from our family and friends, which we want to be around. But
we'd
also
love to be around them. But at the same time, you know, we always say like, how often do we really see our family and friends? And like, it's always like kind of like quick visits, you know? So I'm like, if we have, hopefully we're doing it. And, you know, we have enough space in our home where we could have family stay with us. And there's so much more like quality time there where they're staying with us for a week and visiting, and
every meal you're eating
every
together.
meal you're sharing together. And, you know, it's just, I think that's more special. And I think that time counts more than just like quick little visits here and there.
So in short, we're undecided.
Yeah. We need to clear that path a little bit, but we'll figure it out.
Oh, it's something I think about, and I know many other Bitcoiners do as well. I think I'm from Washington State, Seattle, and so when you
Are
talk
you a
about,
Seahawks fan? You like football?
I'm not a huge. I used to
All right.
be like diehard. Used to be diehard
Okay.
in
I'm a
college.
diehard Rams fan, so you
Okay,
guys, it
Yeah,
was tough.
it's
Congratulations on the
painful.
Super Bowl, by the way.
you're not congratulating me, dude. I just happen to live in the city.
Yeah.
I find it really hilarious how much like people identify, like the Seahawks win the Super Bowl and all of a sudden there's like thousands of people like beating their chests, like, look at
In
what
the
I did.
streets. Yeah.
Every Sunday I had 18 beers this whole year.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Sorry, where were we?
No,
Oh
just
yeah, just like
Citadel.
finding a location, like thinking this stuff through.
Yeah.
I think I find it to be an interesting conversation because yes, like I'm around my family right now, and I'm having these conversations with my brother, my sister. I mentioned she's in Europe. Maybe I told you that. But we're all here, and like I get to see them like on a pretty regular basis. But to your point, it's an hour or two, and then we're going back to our lives. There's trade-offs, right? And my perfect vision would be like I convince all of my close family to like come with me. Let's go do like the Idaho, Montana, South Dakota, something out there,
Nice.
just get a bunch of property. And you're, again, like you don't have to be there 12 months out of the year. You can go, you could have that be your homestead, and then you could be in Latin America 3 months. This is the beautiful thing about Bitcoin, is that it's a global international community. You go anywhere, you're going to be plugged right in. Like you don't have to be a tourist in all these places. Like you can go stay with friends in another country. And anyways, I'm just, it's an interesting thing to think about. I'm glad that you guys are doing it, and I hope maybe our citadels will be near each other. It'd be fun
Hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like for your health. I mean, you mentioned Jack Cruz before. When you listen to him and all of the health benefits you get from living in that specific location where, he's in El Salvador. So he talks about like the latitude and the longitude and all that, and how close you are to the equator, the magnetic sand. It's just like, damn, you see like Jack Dorsey moved to Costa Rica. So we've been to El Salvador and Costa Rica, and you do feel different when you're there. So that's like
energy, everything. You feel just so much better. You feel so much more alive. You could think so much more clearly.
And like you said,
that would be great to live somewhere like that.
But like you said, Kyle, you don't need to be there 12 months of the year. Maybe you spend the Northeast summers in the Northeast, and then you spend a quarter of the year down there, and it just ends up balancing itself out because you're still getting vitamin D through the sun and things like that. So
yeah,
it's
you feel the difference though. Like in the winter here, I mean, it's just like for a while it's kind of nice because everybody's sort of hibernating in a way. You could focus on other things, like really just like set goals and think about other things that you wouldn't have time to think about while you're out and about in the summer. We're beach people, so we like live at the beach in the summer, but yeah, it's definitely it takes a toll on your health here in the winter for sure, because you're not getting that vitamin D, you're not getting grounded, you're not connected to nature in any way. It's brutal. Like we had like 2 feet of snow outside for like, it was like 2 months.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't get grounded if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Right.
Just, you feel the difference, man.
Yeah, and that snow didn't melt for a while because it's full of chemicals from the aerosol that they're spraying in the sky, right? It's like
crazy.
Yeah,
I
so
just
that's
want to be
another
left
downside
alone.
of.
I just want to walk outside and not see chemtrails above me too,
When you're in a highly populated area, like we're in New
Light
York, you just see
pollution
it. Oh my God. It's crazy.
Yeah. I
Got a
flew
5G
from, I
tower
was in Colombia.
nearby.
Oh, the light pollution is brutal. Yeah.
Yep.
Noise, light pollution, the EMFs. Like I personally think that EMFs will be the cigarettes of our generation. Like we will look back and be like, people used to put these things up to their heads and talk to them. Like it's crazy. And very, very cool to see you guys like just thinking through these things. And I know we're on the same page as far as the chemtrails thing. It's like so many people are just like, oh, it's too crazy, I don't want to hear it. But we're now living in a world where it's like so obvious. It's not even a question of is it happening? It's like who's doing it to what scale. And so this directly connects to like the food industry and all this stuff. There's a guy, Dane Wigington. I don't know if you know who this guy is. He's a big chemtrails advocate, California. He had a homestead out in California. He started testing the rainwater, figured out that it was toxic. But yeah, everything is downstream of like poisonous air. So like these cows, like you can raise them regeneratively and like with the best possible food and all this stuff. But if they're being sprayed every single day, they're drinking from the water that's coming from, the runoff from these planes. Like it's just tough to avoid. And so I personally think like other than fixing the money stopping the chemtrails has to be like one of the biggest things in this world. But the reason I brought up Dane is because they asked him like who does the chemtrails, like who's behind this, and he said like, well, all roads lead to those who print the money. So there you go. It's another example of like, you can do stuff that's like not economically viable if you have a money printer. It can hurt human health. It's not even like the market demands it, and yet you have a money printer, you can do it. So that's my rant over
100%. And Kyle, I just want to really quick, because you said something in the beginning of the podcast about how it could be overwhelming and daunting, like this health journey, and there's chemicals and toxins and everything. And like you kind of just said it again with the, like you said, if you're getting regeneratively raised cattle, but their chemtrails are being spread on top of them. And it's like, you know, we love listening to Paul Saladino, and people always like crack on him for fear mongering and stuff like that. And like, I get it to people that they don't think like us, you know, you and us and a lot of Bitcoiners. And it could be overwhelming, but we like to analogize it to like a bucket, right? You have an empty bucket. Your body is the bucket, and there's just drops of water going into the bucket. And the goal is to stop that bucket from overflowing. So yeah, we get our meat from a regenerative rancher, but it comes in plastic. There's nothing we could do about that. So like, you don't have to drive yourself totally crazy to try and start getting on the health train. Sure. Just stack sats, you know, like stack blocks, stack sats, little wins. So
habit stacking.
Habit stacking is what we call it. If you don't want to go to the gym, that's fine. Stretch in your home. Do something mobile for 30 minutes. Go for a walk. If you don't know where to get perfume and cologne, well, just start in your shower. You shower every day. Change your soap. Get a water filter. Tap water is one of the worst things you could be consuming. So get a water filter, like just these little things, and just start one thing at a time. And just every little win that you get, you're just stopping or slowing down that water from overflowing your bucket.
Little swaps.
Little
swaps.
And that's what we talk about all the time.
And we do, because I was, you know, like I said, I'm somebody who's like all or nothing. And I've learned like that's not healthy either for me mentally. Like I can't change everything at once overnight. You'll drive yourself nuts. And that's what I did in the beginning. So that's why, like, with our content that we put out and all of our emails and even our blogs that we put up on our website, we're always trying to like inform people of like little wins, little habits that they can change, little things they could stack, like even just getting grounded, or, you know, here's a great DIY cleaning recipe that it's a multi-purpose cleaner you could use on everything. Like just little things like that I think make a difference. And as you make these little swaps, you know, you realize you're getting better and better. Then you look back at yourself, you know, 6 months ago, and I'm like, wow, look what I was doing then and look what I'm doing now. You know, so much has changed. And even though we've like been involved with the health and holistic kind of lifestyle for, you know, a few years now, I still see such a big difference in us from like 6 months ago. Like there's always room to grow. You're always going to grow. There's never an end point. It's always just about that journey and really just kind of enjoying the ride and taking your time with it.
Beautifully said. Yeah. Little swaps. I love that. And you never know, like there's a frame of mind, which is like, there's no doubt in 5 years, you're going to be a different version of yourself, more wise, more experienced, hopefully maybe a little bit more knowledgeable. Why not like accelerate that process? Like, of course, like you're going to have to make mistakes and learn along the way, but I just try and keep this thing of like, I know where I'm at right now. I'm going to look back on and I'm going to be like, dude, what were you thinking? You know, sunglasses in Seattle, really? Like for my whole life, like that's what I was doing. Unbelievable until 2 years ago. So I could kick myself and be like, oh, I filled my bucket wearing sunglasses. I'm gonna get cancer and die next year. Or I could be grateful that like I figured it out. And now when I go outside and I see people with sunglasses and AirPods and all this stuff, I'm like, you guys just don't know like how much damage you're causing to yourself. Yeah. So I love the bucket analogy, and the human body is so resilient and capable of, it's remarkable. Like just look around. I go, you know, traveling, for example, like you're on these planes, these people, it's like, how are they still alive? Like the way they look and they treat their body. I'm like, the human is just an incredibly resilient machine.
I say that all the time. I wonder how some people are alive. I'm like, how is this person getting through life right now? Like, they just look completely lost.
So I'm like, wow, I feel like we're in like the 1%. You know what I mean? Like just thinking outside the box and questioning these things and really making these little changes. If you're already there starting to question things, you're already doing better than the majority of the people. So
yeah,
I mean, that's a
100%.
huge
And I just have to throw this comment in because when I met you guys last year, it doesn't come through a camera screen, but like you guys are just incredibly healthy looking human beings in real life. Like when I met you, I was just like, are these like models? Are these like, what is going on here? Like you guys like physically look different than like a lot of other Bitcoiners. And when I think I asked you, like, did you guys just come from the beach? It was like October. And you're like, yeah, we were in New Jersey on the beach last week getting tan. I'm like, let's go. So it shows up like your beauty as a human being, like not just your attractiveness, but like you literally resonate or radiate like positive energy when you live a healthy lifestyle, and you can pick up on that stuff super fast. So you
100%
stacking these habits like just improves your life so many different ways, and other people recognize it. So I have to let you guys know about that.
Thank you so much. That means so much.
And that becomes an addiction in and of itself. Like the habit stacking, when you feel really good and you're not used to feeling that way.
That's like a high.
It's like a high.
You don't need any drugs. No. Like I need to feel this all the time.
Yeah, and you just want to chase that. And it's like, wow, okay, I got my 8 hours of sleep. I had my blue light blocking glasses on when the sun went down, and you just want to continue doing that because you feel good, and you just stop caring how you look. Like, all right, most of the people think we look crazy. That's fine, but if you did this and you felt the way I felt, you would be doing it too. And you would think that people would think you're crazy.
To just live by example, like, on our platforms too. Like this is what we're doing. Like I'm putting this all out there because I understand a lot of people, are still caught up in a fiat lifestyle. And, we want to help people as much as we can because I understand how overwhelming it could be. And, so we just want to like put as much information out there as possible of like the way that we live every single day and what makes us feel great. Because there's no reason that everybody else shouldn't be living like this, and if like I did the due diligence, we did the due diligence, we looked into it, like here it is, just take it, just read it, look into it, like you don't even have to do anything. It's here for you. So that's, it's another like big part of our brand that we try to promote, not even just like our products, but just living for people to live to be their healthiest best self.
And we believe that a rising tide lifts all boats. So if you just change one person's life and they implement that change to their family and their kids and their friends, it's like a butterfly effect. So if somebody listens, then you could eventually try and get society moving forward because, we are living in pretty crazy times right now. And thank God for Bitcoin whenever we say Bitcoin, we do not mean the price in the least bit, right? We mean the network, the people, and the freedom, the technology that it gives you. Thank God for that because it keeps me optimistic. It keeps us optimistic when you have just all this craziness going on in the world. And a lot of people could be losing hope because you just like, the deep state runs deep and nobody's being held accountable for any of the crazy stuff that they're doing. And, a lot of people could just say like, why even bother? But not Bitcoiners, like at least not the Bitcoiners that I know. They're all just like, yo, let's build, let's do this from the ground up. Let's change this shit. So that's fun. It's exciting.
Absolutely. And like more people getting radicalized, I think is a great thing. Like I'm radicalized, like the hill, there's no like going back. Once you're like fully, you realize like, okay, like the stakes for where we're at right now are so high. Like we're going to go one of two ways, like kind of what people did in COVID, but like as a grand, all of the whole world is going to go one of two ways. We're going to move towards the centralized, digital banking world controlled by the central banks, or we're going to move to the free market. So yeah, it's a very divergent, it could go really bad or really, really great. And it's so true. Like if I go to like the sauna, I always am preaching Bitcoin or preaching conspiracy theories. I like to ask people, what's your favorite conspiracy theory in the sauna? It's like just a bunch of random dudes and no one really... Anyways, that's just my like sick pleasure of I just like getting conversation going in there. And like most people are just not interested. Like I was in there the other day. They don't even know what's happening in the Iran war. It's actually the Israel-American war, Israel-US war. Calling it the Iran wars doesn't even make sense because the war's not just in Iran, and Iran's not doing it. Like they're just sitting there getting fucked up. So,
did you watch Joe Kent on Tucker?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. And so I guess my question, and maybe we could talk about some like stuff that's happening in the world, because you guys as a brand born to be free, like you have your values, your morals, like you guys, your customers know what you're about. Like I don't know you guys super, super well, but like through your content, I know like we're pretty aligned. Like, if like, I don't know a good example, but I just trust that like, based on the stuff that you guys are putting out there, like you guys hate the government just like I do. Like this 100%. Is awesome.
We are aligned, and not only our customers, but Meta knows where we stand because they deleted our Instagram.
Yep.
I was going to ask you about that.
We've been now 7-8 weeks without our Instagram, which has been like, we only had 3,000 followers, but Instagram accounted for like 40 to 60% of our revenue every month, because we were doing Meta ads.
Yeah.
And even like our loyal customers, like, when you have a new product launch or something, like we would put it on Instagram and people would order. And I know that Noster and Primal is the fix. And that's actually our biggest account that we have the most following. But the majority of people are still on Instagram, and that's where the majority of our sales still came from. Mm-hmm. So, man, it's been extremely frustrating to see. And like, we're just like why us? Like, we're going back and forth. And I'm like, why wouldn't they go after a bigger account? But, society's not going to make a big stink about a small 3,000 follower account. So if they just targeted like 10,000 of us, then now you're taking out people that have certain opinions and things like that. And, it could have been a mistake. It could have been an honest mistake, but from a technology, but the fact that it's gone on this long and we've been in touch with people, and, it's just like
to speak
bullshit answers. They're just like, oh, no updates. Now we paid somebody a good amount of money to try and get it back, and we're 2 weeks into that and still no updates. And it's like, it's been pretty crazy, but
we are being optimistic though. Like this is like, again, like we're trying to going down this like spiritual rabbit hole, and we're sort of like, all right, maybe, let's not sit here and be like, why did this happen to us? Why did this happen for us? Right. And yeah, we lost our Instagram. We lost a lot of revenue, but at the same time, it kind of opened up another door for us to have more time and to actually look into other things, like other platforms like Pinterest, which is a very low time preference platform, because you really build on your SEO there, and you may not see results from that for like 6 months to a year, but it's something we've been wanting to do. So we finally like jumped on that. We're looking at like Etsy. We're looking into making our TikTok better, because we haven't really figured out the TikTok game yet. That's very frustrating, the algorithm on there.
Yeah,
YouTube.
It put a flame under us.
Yes.
Like, all right, we need to, now we're losing 40 to 60% revenue that was coming in easily just because of an ad that we sent or a little post we would do every now and then. So, now it's like you gotta hustle a little bit, which is fun. So we're trying to get better with the content. And now that it's becoming a part of our routine, putting it on TikTok or Primal, Twitter, or X, and YouTube, it's like, okay, we're jumping into this routine. Whenever we do get our Instagram back, or if we have to make a new one, we're just going to have all this content saved up and we could just start releasing it. So like Nadja said, we like to say, all right, we're totally against like the victimhood mentality, not why did this happen to us? Why did this happen for us? And just find a way to grow from it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Man, you guys have a positive attitude about it. I respect it. I can imagine how frustrating it is. It's like, what are you supposed to do? Like, you're just trying to build your business, and like, you can't just build on Noster. It's just not big enough yet. Like, ideally, I think, I mean, pain is a teacher in some ways. And so if all these people are being screwed by the centralized system, like it does push them in the direction of the decentralized system, but it's just rough.
We're just super early, and that's fine. And that's exciting. I tell Nadja all the time, like Noster right now is probably like 2011 Bitcoin. Like that's how early we are in the Noster game. And like for all of us to be building a presence there, there's no doubt in my mind that eventually bigger followers are going to go, because like you just look at what's going on in the political sphere, right? Like the left and the right, man, they always hate each other. And now like inside the MAGA camp, you got they're beefing with each other now. So it's like, okay, you have all these different platforms, whether it's Elon or YouTube or Meta, like it's still controlled by a human being, and there's a central point of failure. Like even YouTube, I don't know if you know who Nick Shirley is, but he's been exposing all the fraud. Like YouTube took down his hospice fraud of when he was exposing California for all that. And it's like, because of some copyright thing, it was
Ridiculous.
complete and total nonsense. So it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you fall on. You just need to know that centralization is the issue, and you need to decentralize your life as much as possible. And that's what we always talk about, parallel structures. And Nostr is one of those tools in talking social media, and we're excited for it. We're super early to it, but we embrace it.
I'm grateful that you guys do, because it's another place to post. It's another thing to deal with. But if you like to this morning, I woke up and you guys reposted something and maybe sent me a few sats. It made my day to start the day. I was like, there's something special about being able to zap and be zapped like straight in the program and actually own your social graph. Whereas if you build like your whole business, I've seen a lot of Bitcoin content creators, Ben Sessions, BTC Sessions, Luke Mikic, just get like midstream, just like right now, YouTube just cuts the stream and that's it. And their channels that they've worked on for 8, 9 years or 5, 6, 7 years is just gone like that. And it's like, it's just how the system works. And so, I think it's smart on you guys to like build and to see that and realize you still have to play in this game, but let's build to be as resilient as possible. We're now seeing CNN supporting Trump. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but the mainstream news, dude, how many years did the mainstream news hate Trump? It's unbelievable.
How did I miss this? When did this happen?
Bro, all he had to do was go to a war for Israel, and now CNN's his best friend. Oh, Trump, we love Trump. It's literally like a decade of like, he's Hitler. And then he starts the war for Israel. Now they're all like, oh, great. Rachel Maddow is going off about how, who is to benefit from this war? It's Qatar. Qatar is going to benefit from this war. It's like, what? Like, so I guess I would just curious, like what you guys, how you think about like commenting on like the craziness of the world today. You guys always have some good takes on stuff. So just curious what you guys think.
Man,
you want to start or you want to
start? I mean, honestly,
we could probably go on a whole rant about this.
We could go on for a long time about this. Honestly, what comes to mind first is a lot of frustration, right? So you think like, the attempted assassination on Trump, how nobody was held accountable, nobody looked into that. Like, regardless of how you feel about him, somebody tried to take out a presidential candidate, right? And then you follow that up with what happened to Charlie Kirk and also the Epstein files, and just nobody's being held accountable. And then you could go back, you spoke about 9/11. Like we think the same way with that, man. Like nobody was accountable. So it's like,
I don't want to cut you off. Did you watch Tucker's 9/11 series?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was okay. He overcomplicates
a lot.
It, but
a little too much, but I just thought that was interesting too.
Yeah, I mean, but the fact is, like, Tucker is out there. He's on the front lines right now. Yeah. Tucker, Candace, like Tucker's talking about chemtrails, 9/11.
Candace. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, thank God for those voices, but I mean, we need people like that with a big following to speak up. I mean, pray for them, because you know how things go in this country. If you don't agree with something and you go against the mainstream agenda, whatever the agenda is, it could end up like Charlie Kirk. So
no, 100%. And like we were saying, a lot of frustration, aggravation, because you just see what's going on, and some of it's so blatantly obvious that it's just like they're just doing it right in your face. Like, haha, what are you gonna do about it?
Like if we're stupid or something.
Like, well, you can't do anything about it. This is what we're gonna do, and it just motivates us to continue to build that parallel structure. Like, okay, so many people stay in their fiat jobs for health insurance. Well, guess what? A Bitcoiner built crowd health, and you don't need that anymore. You don't need your 401k or your pension, because you could just save your time and energy in Bitcoin. You don't need the grocery store, because you could go to the beef initiative. And, like we talked about this entire time, just parallel structures. And when you see what's going on politically, just motivates us so much more to just put that out there, try and support those people from the ground up, and say, this is how we win, ground up revolutions. That's how it's always been. That's how this country was
100%.
built.
Yeah.
I love that you brought us there because I think this is a good place to wrap up. But yes, you're absolutely right. Like, just the optimism of like voting with your time and energy. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to go protest in the street and cry about it? Or are you going to build a business and freaking take it straight to them? So you guys are literally on the front lines, building a business on Bitcoin, and it's called Born to Be Free. So before this episode, I was just like thinking about the alignment between We Are Satoshi, Born to Be Free. I was going to ask like how the actual name came to be. Maybe you guys already said that, but
No,
Thomas Jefferson,
yeah.
1776. I gotta put the quote from the Declaration of Independence, right? Like, we're born to be free. Like, that's something I really resonate with. Like, when we're put in this earth. Yeah. And so he said, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's fucking so powerful because he's just literally like, we hold this to be truth. That's it. Like, there's no like, oh, please, king, recognize that we have these rights. And no, fuck that. Like, I'm a free man, and therefore this is what I'm doing. Like, sorry, I'm fired up, but
no, just keep going. I love it.
That's the passion behind our brand.
Yeah.
Like, what you're saying is 100% on point, because that's what it is. We are all born free. I understand some people are born in North Korea and they had no, influence on that decision. But at the end of the day, as soon as we come out of the womb, we are free. And then anything that happens after that is a product of centralization, government, fiat, and some of it may be out of our control, but God made us free. And when we're born into this world, we are free. In our business, that's free of chemicals. You have the freedom to be healthy, to do what you want to do, because without your health, if you're overweight and your joints hurt and things like that, you may not be able to throw a football around with your child. But if you get your health in order, you could do that. You could go on a walk. You could go on a hike. You could go on a family bike ride. Like, it's just all these things of what freedom means to us. And that means having the ability to say yes to whatever you want, and conversely to say no to whatever you don't want. And like that is like what Born to Be Free is all about.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I know you got something. Come on.
I mean, I could go on forever, but it's in
the shirt. Freedom Maxi.
Yep.
Shout out to Adam O'Brien, because that's his Bitcoin Well.
Yep.
I got that shirt from him, and that's true. We're Freedom Maxis, and that's why we love Bitcoin so much, because Bitcoin represents freedom. Has nothing to do with the price.
Yeah, the foundation that this country was built on, our logo, our brands, the way we built our company, and Bitcoin, the Bitcoin ethos. Like, it's just all so aligned, and it's just a beautiful foundation. And
that's why the flag's embedded in our logo. It's not what we're all seeing today, because what we're seeing today is complete nonsense. But what you just read and what the founding fathers founded this country on, that flag represents that. And that's what it represents in our logo, not this bullshit that's going on today. And, like you said, we're a tiny little thing, but we're on the front lines, and we're trying to fight and trying to change people's perspective and have people at least ask questions. And if you do that enough, who knows? Maybe we can get some type of a ground up revolution. I'm optimistic that we can.
As am I, guys. As am I. Super fired up. John, Naj, you guys, if someone wants to purchase the product, first of all, you're going to please, guys, if you're listening to this episode this far, use my link and buy some products from Born to Be Free store. And I get a little kickback, and Bitcoin supports the podcast. And I think also if you save maybe 10 or 15% on a discount code. So I've been preaching it. I've actually given some of the soap to my brother's wife, my mom, like, just giving the gifts out. And it's just a great thing to like. I'm just so excited to share it generally.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle.
We appreciate that. Yeah, if they use your link, they get a discount, and
they get 15%.
They get to support you, which is awesome. And they also get sats back through Oshi. So
that's right.
Everybody kind of wins from that. If they pay in Bitcoin, they get bonus sats back. So, it's just
Yeah.
all a circular economy, just trying to lift one another up.
And we love talking to people. Like, we love when our customers reach out to us and email. Like, that's what we love about being a smaller brand too. Like, we're here, we talk to our customers all the time. I get emails from them all the time. I love conversating with
Email,
them,
Primal,
asking questions about like some of the blogs we put out, and some of the health things that we're doing, or where we're sourcing our ingredients. I love that question because there's nothing to hide. We're transparent about everything, and we're confident in our products, and we want everybody on the tallow train, man.
Yeah, follow us on X, Noster. You can find all that on our website, borntobefree.store. If you have any questions, reach out to us. Like Naj said, we love talking to everybody because we love associating ourselves with like-minded individuals. It's a breath of fresh air.
For sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Of course. Thanks, Kyle.
We talk true, real life, real roots. Turn it up, lean in, let the new day begin. Hey! Born to be free, that's how we're living. Strong heart, clear mind, faith and a mission. From the dirt on our hands to the dream that we see. Healthy, high-fat, wild and wise. We were born to be free. Hey! We were born to be free. Hey!
Grow food in the backyard, laugh loud at the headlines, stack hope like a lifeline for these wild times. Body's getting stronger, money getting honest, families at the table, shaking off the nonsense.
Born to be free, that's how we're living. Strong heart, clear mind, faith and a mission. From the dirt on our hands to the dream that we see. Healthy, high and wide. We were born to be free. Oh, we were born to be free. We're building that future, brick by brick, choice by choice, day by day. It sticks from the first hello to the last amen. We rise up together, let the healing begin. Hey, born to be free.